Mobility is a big topic of conversation in government spaces today. But the challenge is this: how do I get this CAC card to be used as my authentication mechanism on this iPad? That's where the magic of Citrix Receiver 5.9 for iOS comes into play. First, you're going to need a smart card reader for your tablet. I've got one here by Precise Biometrics that fits onto the iPad, and the card actually slides in to the back of the sleeve. Now, let me show you how this works.
We'll start by going to the Apple App Store to download Citrix Receiver. Simply search for Citrix in the search box. You can also have this delivered to your device by a mobile device manager such as Citrix XenMobile. This can also be used from iPhones as well, as long as you have a reader. And now that I've got that downloaded, I want to launch Citrix Receiver and begin by adding my account. Now, the URL should be provided by your IT department. I'll just type in the URL on my iPad, and now notice that there's a button here that says Use Smart Card. Check that button to use your CAC or PIV card as your login method instead of username or password. Then click Next, and it's contacting the gateway to make sure that I can use Smart Card authentication. If your card is not in a reader, you'll be asked to insert your smart card. Once inserted, I'll use my personal PIN to unlock the certificates on the card. And now while it's loading, the servers are seeing what desktops and applications that I have access to on the back end. Since I already have an account on this server, it's also looking for the applications that I've chosen to add to my home screen. Receiver functions like an app store, and clicking the plus button on the left side shows me all the applications that are available from my Citrix environment. If I want to add an application that I use frequently to my home screen, I just need to touch the plus button next to the application. I'll add Microsoft Publisher to my home screen so that you can see how this works. Now, anytime I log in from any device, I'll always have these applications and desktops on my home screen. Now let's launch a resource. I want to launch a virtual desktop, so I'll touch the first icon for my hosted applications desktop. As I launch this virtual desktop, it's establishing a direct connection between my iPad and the virtual desktop itself. All of this communication between my device and desktop is encrypted over SSL using FIPS encryption to ensure that I've got government-grade security for all data in transit. I'm essentially using my iPad as a mobile thin client, so there's no data at rest I have to worry about. Now that the connection is established, I'm presented with the usual login prompt at Windows, where I'll choose my smart card as my authentication mechanism. I'm using these red boxes to block your view of some of my private information, since this is a public video. And enter my smart card PIN and click OK to log on. And now as my desktop launches, you'll see something very interesting happen. The back end has determined that I'm using my iPad instead of a system with a keyboard or mouse like a desktop, laptop, or a Zero client. Since it's detecting that I'm mobile, it will change the appearance of my desktop to a much more mobile-friendly view. Since I'll be doing less right-clicking and more multi-touch gestures, it presents me with a desktop that's optimized for mobile devices. The taskbar at the bottom changes to show all of my running apps, and now I have two buttons at the top to control what I do. The Windows logo on the top left is now my Start button and Start menu, but optimized for touch and also optimized for swipe scrolling instead of using scroll bars. And this makes Windows that was designed for using a mouse much easier to navigate on a device designed for gestures. The top right button turns off this mobile experience and gives me my standard Windows desktop if that's what you're more comfortable with. Now let me go back to my mobile view since I'm working from my iPad. Now say I'm on the road and I need to collaborate with other agencies on a new project. In the US DoD, the de facto way of doing this is through DCO. So now from my iPad, I can connect to DCO and use my CAC card to log in. I can create meetings, record meetings, and attend meetings and do all the things I'm used to from the DCO desktop experience. And I can do this from anywhere on demand. I'm not carrying around my heavy laptop just because there are things I can't do from an iPad normally. My VDI environment is a full version of Windows, so it's just like sitting at my office at a desktop or laptop computer, and I get all the functionality that Windows provides. Now, I'm still on the road, and I just realized I have to send an official email, and it must be signed using my CAC credentials. That's no problem either. So I'll switch to Outlook and compose a new email. I'll send this email to myself so that you can see how this works. I'll type a few things as a subject and something for the body. This is a test. Now let me switch over to the Options tab, and now that you can see, I do have the sign option enabled so that when I hit send, it will prompt me for my smart card PIN. So now I can sign this email using my certificates on my CAT card. I'll type in my PIN and obstruct your view once again, and there. Now, if I was attaching a file, I can also encrypt it using my digital certificate as you would normally do. Now let's take a look at my email so that we can see the signature. I'll click on the digital signature details, and we can see that my signature has been validated and considered trusted. So anybody who receives this email now knows I am who I say I am. Now that I've finished doing all my necessary work for my iPad, I can log off and go about other business. This has been just one of the many ways that Citrix is enabling government mobility and fulfilling our commitment to be able to work and play from anywhere, anytime, and especially on any device. And I can do it with government-grade security.
So now that you've seen what it can do, let me tell you why this is important for you. First, because all of my virtual desktops and applications and data are inside of my data center, this is really a mobile thin client with zero data at rest. All the traffic going back and forth between this device and that data center is FIPS encrypted for full security. This goes beyond just the traveling executive. This can be used in a number of different ways, such as warehouse employees or checkpoint employees, where people need small devices and still need to use their CAC or PIV cards to access those critical applications. Thanks for watching. For more information, please check out our website at citrix.com/usgovernment or send me an email at andy.banks@citrix.com. Thank you.